Hello, I am Yui. This time I'll talk about the story that moved me about Tenrikyo. Tenrikyo is a religion that originated in Japan. It is about the first time I felt that Tenrikyo truly saved me. This is my personal experience. My parents were Tenrikyo followers, so I had heard its teaching since I was young. Tenrikyo teaches us to have gratitude, to save others, and to live with joy. On the other hand, it says that hurting others, looking down on people, getting angry, and being selfish are not good. There is a difference between good and bad ways of thinking and acting. I thought Tenrikyo's teachings were good, but because God is invisible, I didn't feel that need to take action unless I really wanted to. When I was still unsure about God, I asked my parents, do I have to follow Tenrikyo for my whole life? I had an experience that made me think there really is something to this. After high school, I went to a vocational school for a year. Then I started working in a French restaurant kitchen. I was training to be a chef, but the work was hard. I was clumsy and made many mistakes. I got scolded constantly and struggled to keep up. Eventually, I quit in just over a year. I felt frustrated because my coworkers could do things I couldn't. I kept wondering, why am I like this? That led me to question whether I might have ADHD. After quitting my job quickly, I worried about whether I could survive in society. My future seemed dark. At that time, I had already decided that I would attend a 3-month training school called Shuyoka in Tenrikyo. This school is Tenri City, Nara Prefecture, where Tenrikyo's headquarters is. At Shuyoka, students live together, study Tenrikyo's teachings, clean and train their minds and bodies. During my time at Shuyoka, I met a boy with severe developmental disability. His condition was easy to see. My experience with him and my time at Shuyoka completely changed my way of thinking. It was an eye-opening experience. For the sake of this story, let's call this boy A. A often ran around alone, talking to himself openly. At that time, I was still unsure about the existence of God. One day, a teacher at Shuyoka told us, faith is not about believing in God after you see God. Instead, you must take the first step toward God. If you believe first, you will start to see God's workings. I thought, I have 3 months here. Since I had struggled with work before, I decided to sincerely pray for A. I wanted to see if something good would happen to him. It was like a small experiment. Up until then, I had heard in Tenrikyo's teachings that if one has a sincere heart and prays to God, any illness can be healed. I wanted to see if this was true. Since we had the opportunity to visit the main shrine of Tenrikyo every day, and since A was in my class, I spent my whole time with him, guiding him and taking care of him. Every day, I prayed Osazuke, a healing prayer for A. I also did creating divine order, which means doing good things to bring joy to others, so that this good action might bring God's help to A. I gave my time and effort to save him. After doing this for a month, something new came to light in the second month. I found out that A's home environment had issues. His grandmother was Tenrikyo follower. She sent him to Shuyoka because his home life was bad. But if A went to home, his situation would not improve. I pray for A every day, so I felt strongly that we needed to do something about his family. I visited A's dormitory often. I asked the teacher if I could talk to his parents. However, there was a complication. A and I were from different Tenrikyo church groups. Tenrikyo's teachings are the same for everyone, but each follower belongs to a church group that connects back to a certain place. Since I was from different groups, it was not my place to interfere. So My request was denied. But if we didn't do something about his family, nothing would change. I bet that teacher, but he didn't do anything. I was about 20 or 21 years old at that time. I felt very frustrated. I thought, Tenrikyo teaches that saving others is the most important thing, but here is someone who clearly needs help and nobody is doing anything. Why won't they save? But I was allowed to interfere, so I continued praying and doing good deeds for A. Then, in the third round, something changed. A new teacher from A's church group was assigned to him. This teacher was very influential. He quickly saw that A's problem was his home life. He took action. He called A's parents to attend for a meeting. He even let me join the meeting. In the meeting, the teacher explained Tenrikyo's teachings. A's parents didn't think well of Tenrikyo at first, but after the teacher spoke, they said, I see. So this is what Tenrikyo teaches. We'll visit the church again. The meeting ended well. Watching the teacher lead the discussion, he looked like a superstar. Really. He has the authority to help families, the wisdom to talk to them, and the experience to guide others. Even after decades of faith, he still supported a person in need. I strongly felt that I should become a believer like him. After the meeting, I was so moved that I cried. The teacher shook my hand, cried with me, and said, I'm glad things worked out. That night, during evening prayer, I thanked God. I'm so grateful for what happened with A today. As I prayed, tears flowed. For the next 10 minutes, I couldn't stop crying. It was not about myself. I was overjoyed for someone else. I had never felt like this before. It was the greatest emotion I had ever felt. I had never cried so much in my life. The next day, I shared my experience with my classmates, the class leaders. He had worked as a company vice president before retiring. After hearing my story, he said, that kind of thing doesn't happen in normal society. That is what you call miracle. Through this experience, I started reflecting on myself. Before, I worried about ADHD. But at that moment, I realized it didn't matter at all. Actually, I was glad I had those worries. Because of my struggles, I could understand A and sincerely support him. If I had not struggled, maybe I would have laughed at him like others did. I realized that my difficulties were actually a blessing. What I once thought was bad became something to be grateful for. This changed my life. Tenrikyo teaches, through saving others, you will be saved. By saving A, I was saved too. I felt God's presence. I learned the joy of saving others, and my faith grew stronger. This is my story. Thank you for listening.